Yo guys, what's going on? Welcome back to another episode of Unitas Gazer here today. We're going to be talking about Marvel's Avengers, or should I say Square Enix's Marvel Avengers. Because let's just be honest with you here, this game was not that great. And personally, I think the game is okay. But everybody else thinks the game is not as good as it was hyped up to be, which is honestly true. Because there are a lot of issues with this game, and that's exactly what we're going to be talking about today. The issues with the game and the upsides with the game, just the bad and the good pretty much. So let's go ahead and get started. First off, we're going to be talking about the leveling system in this game, such as the Division, and you know what, there's so many other games, but the Division is pretty much the one that Division 1 and number 2. So the leveling system in games honestly does not work well in my opinion, simply because you know, you're level 2 and you go into a place with level 6 guys, and you know, they're the same guy, you know, they're the same kind of guys as you, but you're just getting dominated by people who are stronger than you because they're higher level, and it just doesn't make any sense at all, because you know, they're using a gun that does more damage than your gun, and it's just stupid. It doesn't make any sense. It's the same kind of weapon, and it's the same concept here. You know, you're playing as the Incredible Hulk, alright, and you're going against guys who are like this big compared to Hulk. And they're sitting here shooting laser guns at you and knocking you on your ass as the Incredible freaking Hulk. Alright? And it just bothers me. The leveling systems bother me. And I think they should not have put the leveling systems inside of the game. And I understand you didn't want to make the characters too overpowered. But then again, this is a Marvel Avengers game with the Incredible Hulk. I mean, you're playing as Hulk, Thor, Captain America, Iron Man. Some of the biggest overpowered people in Marvel's history, pretty much. And basically, it just doesn't make any sense to have a leveling system in the game because the leveling system just doesn't work. It's not that great in my opinion. I don't really enjoy of getting decimated by guys who are just a lot smaller than me. So the second thing we're going to be talking about is the fact of the campaign. The campaign is really short. It's honestly shorter than the Spider-Man PS4 game, I think, because it just felt like it was really short. But not that the story or the writing was actually bad. That was probably one of the biggest things about the game, was actually the writing. It was actually pretty good. The way you assembled the Avengers and everything was actually, you know, quite nice. But the campaign itself was actually really short, and it didn't really have enough time to be with each character besides Kamala and Bruce Banner. Those were honestly the only two characters that you really had any kind of like physical contact with, because you know, you play with them most of the time, and a lot of the reveals for the characters were actually quite underwhelming. But the Thor, the one where they introduced Thor, was actually pretty good. It was actually pretty cool. You know, he's walking down the street as a regular guy, and he calls his hammer, and I thought that was cool as hell. Black Widow's was fucking amazing. I'd never thought that she was going to be that spy, even though, you know, they kind of hinted at it at the beginning. But the campaign was actually pretty good of the Avengers. I'm actually enjoyed the actual whole storyline of the Avengers. It was actually pretty good. So that part I will give them. But the other thing about it is just the fact that they made it really short, and they've gone such a long way with the game, and it got shorter than normal. The leveling system just, in my opinion, doesn't work. And the last thing is the boss fights. There's the boss fights that you have. The only good one that stands out the most is the Abomination boss fight. That was honestly, that was fun. I love fighting Abomination as a whole. But personally, I don't really care about fighting anybody else but Abomination, really. Because Abomination was the only one that I really cared about fighting. My light bulb keeps going out. It's very a nuisance, so I keep trying to fix it every time it goes out. But basically, overall, the Avengers game is a fun game to do as a fighting game, but a lot of the stuff just doesn't make sense. The leveling system, they did not need to implement. The boss fights need to be a little bit better, and just the fact that the game itself was underwhelming, really, and I didn't really have many contact with any of the other, you know, Avengers that I played as, because they should have done a separate storyline on each Avenger. It would have been nice, because Kamala was the main focus of the game, obviously. But I liked Ms. Marvel in this game. I thought she was okay. She was a little annoying, to be honest, but I've never really been a fan of Ms. Marvel, so honestly, I saw myself playing as Hulk and Thor more than anybody else, because I like Hulk and Thor. Those are my favorite two Avengers, so just being honest with you. But I would rather see them, like, more or less play as the person that you want the story to be about, So then, you know, you'll be able to play, they connect, and then maybe we started liking Kamala, which honestly, a lot of people started liking Kamala towards the end, which I did. I thought Kamala was a good character and a good place to be starting a new Avenger. But just the rest of the game just did not work very well. They had so many of the characters that we've seen before, and it was a fresh story, and they finally used an aim inside of a story, because honestly we never really see them use aim except in Ultimate Alliance. That's the only game that we've seen them in before. I honestly think that's the only game we've seen them in before. And personally, I just think it did not work with the length of the campaign that they had. It was so short. And honestly, just throwing in those extra missions and everything, and having a level cap with them, just did not do it any favors. And honestly, I think they could have done it better if they made it open world. If they made it open world with no leveling system, there it goes again. If they made it open world with no leveling system, it would just make the game a lot better, in my opinion. And also the ability to let you pick up things, such as the Hulk, instead of breaking a rock out of the ground and throw shit at people. I would rather pick up a thing. You know, you're the Hulk, for God's sakes. You could pick up anything. And honestly, I think that if the game goes through more updates and they start adding more stuff in, they'll be able to add this in, and it'll actually be a lot better. So I'm hoping they do something like that, because it's just going to be a lot better if they do, you know, something else besides all of this stuff. Because with the way they're going right now, it's just going to end up like a game like Anthem. And honestly, I don't really want to see this game doing that. I don't think any of us do. But until then, I think that we're just going to have to hope that they come out with an update that's going to make the game a lot better than it is now. Because personally, Avengers did not really sit well with me, and I feel like it didn't really sit well with a lot of other people either. But that's just my opinion on the game. What are your guys' opinions? Let me know. And I will see you guys in the next video. See ya.